foundational qualifications as a whole, we're only looking for one of the three main options. So from the policy perspective, we only need either education or training or personnel certifications. We get the question often, do we have to have all three? No, you don't, but your unit or component can mandate that. So your unit can mandate that employees coded to certain work roles have a degree and a training and a personnel certification. But that guidance won't be coming from DoD-CIO. So the key voice track here is just one option. And then noting that there are the additional requirements, the residential and the continuous professional development towards the end. But again, for our purposes here, we're only looking at foundational. Here's one of the desk guides that we've been able to publish. So this talks to the same messaging. We're only looking for one option. So you can think about this going through the matrix step by step. You can start with evaluating the degrees out there, and then you can move on to look at the training, and then finally the personnel certification. Next, we have our desk guide as well. And the key voice track here is that if we're looking at our encumbered workforce, new hires, we have 9 months from the date of code to maintain obtain a foundational qualification. So once we have the employee coded to a particular work role, there's 9 months total to have that employee obtain that foundational qualification. And you can introduce the waiver option, which would give us an additional 6 months to have that employee obtain the foundational qualification. So this is a really good desk guide for our supervisors when we're looking at the timelines and different elements required there. Okay, new guidance that was published over the summer. We have our personnel qualification waiver guidance, which is applicable to the IT, cybersecurity, and cyber enabler workforce elements. And this provides the additional flexibility to grant an extension for up to an additional 6 months for the applicable populations. And we expand upon what we have in the manual, what we mean by severe operational constraints and personnel constraints. So this is on the DoD Cyber Exchange Public Enclave under the memo subsection. So if you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to take a look at this. But as we come up on the fall tasker, this is going to be very important because there are parameters in place that you can use to buy your people an additional 6 months. So I would encourage everyone to take a look at that. And if you don't have it, you can connect with your OPR or the DoD-CIO would directly. Okay, now we're going to take a moment to go through the relevant ingestion processes on how we're getting the different options into the qualification matrix, and starting with our priority, which is military training ingestion. So we've been working with the military services closely since 2019, and the WID team is very proud of the commitment that everyone has worked through this together. I think everybody's done a great job on this. And we have our DoD training advisory group that is taking a look at the qualification matrix as a whole, identifying the gaps, and continuously getting military trainings into the matrix that are aligned with our core KSA threshold, the 70% of the core KSAs for a particular work role. And this update cycle is continuous. So we're always looking for more trainings, or if trainings are being updated by your units, we're looking at that to get them into the qualification matrix. And the key thing here is military training is free. So if our service members have a military training that aligns to the DCWF and it's in the matrix, they do not need to obtain a personnel certification. So this is a very cost-effective way to foundationally qualify our personnel in a timely manner, and they do not need